Hey there YouTube, Dave1135 here. I got a shipment in today that, actually it's a few days ago. I want to show you what I got. I ordered something and give you an idea where it's from. Yeah, I ordered something from Eastwood Tools. Eastwood is the sponsor for Roadkill, and I've watched them several months use their tools. I've been pretty impressed. I got on the website, looked around, was even more impressed. So I went ahead and I got that right there, Eastwood valve spring compressor. Actually, it's not really bad for the price because all the more I paid for it. Right there, $35 for this compressor, and it should work pretty good. Anyway, let me get set up with my tripod, and I'll show you how she works. We'll try her out. Okay, we're back. I've got this head here. I've already went ahead and installed the valve stem seal and the valve in the head, so I have it all set. Right here I have my keepers and my valve. So all you gotta do is just go ahead and install the valve spring on top. Take your tool, open that up like that, turn it around, hook it onto the valve first. Okay, get it centered. Squeeze it back just a little bit. And then it holds it hands free, so you don't have to worry about your trying to hold the spring in and trying to do that at the same time. And you just insert your keeper. I use a little bit of petroleum jelly on these keepers to lock them in place. You can use grease, assembly lube, whatever works good for you. I just like using this because this is what works for me. Okay, now I've got to get that keeper locked in. Just like that. And just hold the lock, pull it off. Always like to double check, and I wrap it just to make sure it's in. As I'm sure you can see, it's all installed. You just go on to your next one. Install my spring seat. Gotta check, see which one this is. This is going to be exhaust. These valve stem seals, pretty easy to tell the difference. You have red seals, black seals, so they're color coded, and also they're marked. I'm not sure if you can see it. If I can get it up. Hello, up there where the lens can see it. Yeah, it's marked on there with an EX. That marks it as exhaust. So you know which is which. Set it on there, push it down, make sure it's seated, which it is. Take your exhaust valve, I coat mine. A little bit of oil, coat the shaft, flip it up, find the hole. Where's the hole? There we go, and voila, here we are. We're in. Now, I know they say you're supposed to use, like, there's a special installation tool that goes on and push this down, and I've never had any problem doing it this way. I mean, I've done, I don't know how many hundreds of these, and I've never had one fail yet. So Like I said, if you're more comfortable with, installing the valve and then putting the seat, putting the valve stem tool in, or the valve seal with the little tool, that's fine. Just one thing important to remember: make sure you don't forget to put these valve seats in. Especially you won't have these on a cast iron head because, of course, it's cast iron. But this being aluminum, you need to have something between the valve and the valve spring and the head, because otherwise the valve spring will just chew up the aluminum. It'll damage it. Okay, get the tool fully opened. Seated on the valve. Click, click, click. Okay. Take keepers. So one keeper. And there we go. They're all installed. I still got two more to do, but I'm not going to bore you with that. So hold on a sec. Okay, my thoughts on this tool. Granted, it is only a $35 valve spring compressor, and there could be some things better about it. One thing I don't like is to adjust the pin. Is you have this little set screw right here that you loosen, and this pin is then free to slide back and forth. One thing I've noticed that when you do valves like this, you have really got to have that pin hammered down, and that arm that they have on there, if you look with my thumb, it's not very long, so I foresee that possibly bending in the future. To me, it would have been better if what they had done is if this right here, if this part here, if they had threaded it, oh boy, if they had threaded this half here and then cut threads into this, and then at the very top here have this extend out longer than what it is and have like a nut, plastic nut, so then you can adjust the height that way. I think that would work better. That's really about the only fault I have with it, because like I said, the arm is really beefy, heavy steel, and the part that goes onto the spring, it's nice and heavy. It has adjustment for width on it. And it's a quick change. All it is just a bolt, and then you have a pin right here, just pops out. So that works pretty good. And it does come with a straight jaw other than a curved jaw. I'm using the curved jaw because of the shape of these heads, the way these heads are, and they're recessed. It just makes it easier. But all in all, I think it's pretty decent value for the money. Now, if you were commercial mechanic, and if you especially worked in a rebuild shop and you're doing this all the time, I would recommend getting like a Lyle, which runs about 120 bucks. Something that's going to be used every single day. Just the Lyle's better, because I think the Lyle has the designs that I was mentioning. I think that shaft is threaded, I think. Just my own thought on it. But like I said, for like me, who I do occasional motor here and there, mainly I do small engines, and of course my model airplanes. I'm kind of retired as a mechanic now, but I still get suckered into doing work now from friends. But I don't mind doing it. It keeps me busy. But yeah, this should be a pretty good tool. I don't usually buy a tool unless it's something I'm going to end up using for quite a while, unless I know I'm going to be needing it even that way when I was a mechanic. If it was an occasional job, like I would just borrow one from the other mechanics who had one, other than buy my own, because that's what we usually did. We usually just, one person would invest in a tool and other people would borrow it. That way we don't all have the same thing. Because some of these schools, they can be pretty expensive, and especially some of them are pretty specialized. They're just for one thing only. So it can get pretty expensive, especially if it's something you're going to buy. use once, throw in the drawer, never use again. Even though there are times when it's good to have that, because if the timer comes up and you need it, you've already got it. But anyway, I'll try this out and we'll get these heads done so I can get this motor finished. Oh yeah, I was going to show you the motor. It's slowly coming together. I've got the bottom ends all put together. I got the engine mount bracket installed. I got that crank sensor I talked about. It's installed. The coil packs, they're ready to be bolted on. The coil adapter's on. Front cover's on. Timing cover. I just need to flip it over. Install the heads. I'm only going to install one head. I'm going to install the front head on this. I'll leave the back head off because that gives me easier access to the one bolt right there that goes into the engine, or goes into the transmission. It's a lot easier to get to that out, and then also it's easier to get to the knock sensor and wiring and stuff back behind here. Plus there's a bracket that goes on the front here. It's kind of a bear to get to. But like I said, after it's in the car, I bolt that one head on and we'll be done. So if I have more to do on this car, I'll keep you updated. And so I guess I'll talk to you later. Day 11:35 out.